Easy Obby. Nearing 1 billion visits and having over 10,000 concurrent players during non-school hours, it's one of the most popular obbies out there. However, this also means the game is very polished, but not polished enough. Originally, I thought this was a terrible idea for a challenge due to it taking over 100 jumps. However, some new discoveries have made me question that initial assumption. So I finally answered the question, how many jumps does it take to beat Easy Obby? Is it possible in under 10? Let's find out. First things first is that we find this lava. This takes an extremely unfortunately high jump count of 0. That's right, 0. How? Enter the immortality glitch. This is a glitch discovered by Kirby Superstar Master. Oh hey, that's me. And allows us to achieve immortality via a high ping. I used my phone for this since I use it mostly for calling and I don't have a high-end one because of that, so it was actually perfect for this. For footage purposes, not only did I use a computer for this from like a third person perspective, but for the rest of the video in a first person perspective. However, rest assured the glitch is probably possible on PC, but even if it isn't, all the strats from this point forward are possible on mobile anyway. Note that this is temporary. A glitch merely delays death. It doesn't fully stop it. I wonder whose idea it was to name it the immortality glitch then. Kirby Superstar Master must be pretty dumb, huh? But since we touched the checkpoint, that doesn't matter. The next few stages are actually quite simple. Then we come across this pick-a-path stage. Since some future stages require several jumps, even with some techniques I have not yet revealed, we're gonna do pick-a-path skip. This one was also discovered by me for the purpose of speedrunning. I made a slightly altered version that only requires 2 jumps for the purpose of this challenge. By falling off the ledge in a strategic way via shift lock, we can immediately grab onto it. Doing this with an ult allows us to climb it. From there, the ult can return to the platform. If the main account was far enough to the front of the ult's head, it will stay on. This bypasses the 2 jumps normally used to get on the ults. From there, we can jump onto the pick-a-path and then up to this section, bypassing several jumps. However, another unavoidable one is this one to get up from the sliding position. I tried several things to get around it, but none actually worked. This ups our count to 3. This next section requires several jumps. Is what lesser men would say. The technique of climbing on an ult can be used here as well, but with a new element put into play. We need to angle our ult just right so that he is close enough to get past, but not so close he died because these hitboxes are bigger than your mom. But with all that done, I got past. Why do I only have footage of me doing this for the first one? Just know I definitely didn't want to spend 6 minutes getting past the first obstacle just for a shot at the second, despite that I already know it's all possible because they are all the same height. If I was doing this legitimately, I could skip the final one using my dead corpse to hit the next checkpoint. After what feels like an eternity, we finally get an easy stage. Not anymore, because this next one is hard due to the bigger than your mom hitboxes I previously mentioned. Wasn't too hard though. You know what was too hard? This next stage, which requires extremely difficult leaps, as well as making ult stacking to save jumps even harder. Allow me to explain. To get on this first platform, we need not just to get on an ult, not just to strike a difficult balance with the your mom sized hitboxes, but also move while ult stacked. This means you have to move an agonizingly slow amount with one account, so the main one can move and repeat. One mistake and you fall off and you need to start all over again. That's not the end though. Far from it. We need to make much larger jumps than intended, which are barely possible, in part due to the lava not allowing us to alt stack or cross any gaps except this really short one for some reason. 3 jumps this level took, and it also gave me anger issues. This next level requires alt stacking and also made me realize that we could hypothetically have use this for the first stage. So anything requiring something not on mobile like shift lock is actually not fair game. The corpse trick can also be used for the final lava line thingy. One easy stage later, we come across this stage. We don't need alt stacking per se, we just need to climb the alt while it's still ledge grabbing to cross the gap, which is much easier. We can also hit the checkpoint with our arms, meaning for the last gap, we don't need this trick. We can also do this for a bunch of other levels, but I didn't mention it because it would have gotten way too repetitive and boring. Also, the alt jumps don't actually count in this run as we are simply doing this challenge with our main. You may disagree, but think about it this way. Say someone who jumped touches me and pushes me a little by mistake in a public server. Should we really count that? No, that makes 0 sense. But if we don't count that, what's different about an ult? If we ban ults, I could easily just have a friend do all this. Why make it more convenient? The next stage is the same as the last one. This next stage requires us to do the same thing on a sloped surface, making it quite a bit harder, but it's nothing I can't handle. This lava can be evaded by a tight tiptoe across the edge of the platform. These spinny platforms are quite interesting as we can alt stack to get on the first, and with the right alignment we can cross these gaps. This next stage requires alt stacking to get past these gaps, and this next one also does really, this is getting old, though we do need to put our alt at a certain spot to clear the gap due to the platform also being to the side. A few easy and one copy pasted from earlier stage later, we find this level that requires even more alt stacking. The stage after that, gaps can be crossed via shift sidewalking except for the first and final ones. These stairs may be a unique obstacle, but we use the same alt stacking strat for most of them. We don't even need that strat for the final few though. The way down requires no strats other than walking forward. Wow, how difficult. Then the stage requires us to use alt stacking to cross gaps. Where have I heard that one before, huh? A few copy pasted or easy stages later, we get this stage where we need to cross gaps and gain height. And while I was worried at first, you can gain enough height with alt stacking and a ledge grab. One easy stage later, and we find this stage. This gap is too far for any alt stacking to allow us to get past. Jump number 7 it is, I guess. One easy stage and one simple alt stacking stage later, we find this stage. In a previous video, I claimed this section to be impossible, since that other obby plagiarized this one, but in that game, alt stacking was impossible. And that one change makes all the difference. It's possible, a grand total of 0 jumps. The next stage simply requires alt stacking to get on the first platform and to clear all the gaps. Stage after is actually possible without alts at all. These stairs are up next. The thing with these is that my alt can't ledge grab on these platforms to my knowledge for some reason. But the first one is still possible by using the checkpoint platform. Then, with a probably frame perfect jump, we can clear 2 steps in just one. This allows us to reach the top in 2 jumps. Finally, 1 jump and a death allows for our corpse to hit the checkpoint, allowing us to go down in 1 jump. This brings us up to 10 jumps. These weird stairs are clearable with some wonky movement, and this last stage, for how difficult this challenge has been so far, almost poetically merely requires us to walk forward and continue holding the W key, and we made it in 10 jumps. But, I mean, our goal was kind of under 10. Hoping someone in the audience could somehow find a way to save one of these. This also makes this my best challenge in terms of jump count so far, so it's not a complete failure. This was honestly a really difficult challenge, but I'm sure all that difficulty made it very entertaining for you to watch because I know you are all very sadistic and enjoy my suffering. Be sure to watch one of these videos as well.